What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I did want to talk about the new map expansion coming to Motorfest. Now, the big question I keep asking myself, and I'm sure other players might be doing the exact same thing, is the map expansion going to be enough? Now, the reason why I am saying that, though, is we all do know the map expansion itself is most likely not going to be enough in the aspect that, yes, it is obviously a new place to play on, but we're obviously going to be getting that in around 4 months from right now, which is a pretty long time if I'm being real. But that is going to be a new place to actually play on. So here's the thing. I would say a lot of players are most likely going to immediately head over to the new island. They are probably going to pretty much forget about Oahu for a bit. We're also going to be getting new events and stuff on the new island. So what is going to be the point of actually going back to Oahu? So do you guys also think the new map is then going to play a role that everybody's going to play on that one? And then a few months down the road, they're going to be like, okay, this is dope, but can you guys add more islands to the game? This one isn't enough. I would say that is probably going to be something that is most likely going to happen pretty close after this entire Maui update does come out. Now we do know right now though, as I did mention, that besides having like a map expansion, we obviously do need to have a lot more things on the map itself. This is going to be events, there's obviously going to be skills. Who knows if they're probably going to add jet sprints and hovercrafts into the game. I mean, that was honestly kind of random to even bring that up, but I do feel like adding those into the game wouldn't be a terrible idea, even though a lot of people from the crew 2 probably didn't like them. Personally, I thought they were pretty fun, even though they were a bit wonky to get used to driving and stuff like that, but having more things to do on the island is probably going to be key here. Yes, there is going to be new skills and stuff like that, but one of my biggest concerns is going to be something coming down to the playlists themselves. Now, we all do know we're obviously going to be getting more of them. At least one was obviously confirmed for the update itself, which, if I'm going to be real, probably isn't enough playlists at all, but hopefully they're actually going to be showing us more of them than just one of them. Like, don't get me wrong, having a new island is dope. Yes, I am so excited to play on it. And I would say a lot of players can't wait to actually play on it, but as Sid Waj did mention, and I do know a lot of other content creators said it, there is still going to be a few things that fundamentally need to be fixed. Now, I did mention this in the previous video I did make a few days, so I'm not going to go on like a long rant because I would say at this point everybody is probably aware that yes, we do need new PvP events, we need something to change with the summits, and then obviously having a better replayability to the game itself. That is probably going to be fairly obvious. Now, the one thing about the new map that does excite me though is yes, it is going to be a new area, so they're probably going to have new grand races there, but is that going to be enough for PvP? The other thing I did want to mention on top of that, now I'm not sure how people are going to take this in the comments, but I have to say it, man. Look, I do understand a lot of people want more cars in the game. I also do myself. We have around 700 cars in the game right now. Once this update comes out, we're probably going to be over 700 vehicles, or at least close to it. That is incredible. But here's the thing though, guys. Once again, if you have all of these vehicles, what do you actually do with them? Don't get me wrong, I do understand driving around is going to be fun now. We're also going to have Maui being in there so you can go over the bridge. I think that was shown in the actual trailer. But you can actually go over the bridge, drive into Maui, then go back to like Oahu, and pretty much have a bigger time and also a better time actually driving around. This is going to be a lot more fun because it is going to be a new place to explore, and it's also going to add a new place like once you're done with Oahu. Like, let's say you're driving around with your friends, you're like, hey yo bro, we're done with this, let's head over to the new map and go drive over there for a bit. It is probably going to be a fun new experience for everybody. Like, I can't wait for it. But there is one more thing I have to mention about this though. Yes, we're obviously getting a new map on the game. Everybody by then, which keep in mind guys, this is once again coming out in November. That's around 4 months from now, okay? That is actually going to be 4 more months playing on this map, which don't get me wrong, it's fun. I do understand a lot of people are probably tired of driving around in Oahu, which is probably why a lot more people probably went back to the Crew 2 because of that map size. But do you guys also think that, yes, once Maui comes out, everybody's going to then flock to that new map, right? They're all then going to play there for hours on end, wanting to do more on the map, but is there going to be enough new things on the map like events or maybe collectibles and stuff or something that is going to keep people occupied on Maui for a while? Do you guys actually think people are then going to get bored of Maui pretty quick? We all do know everyone's playing on Oahu, right? So then everyone's going to go to Maui, which again, I do not know if Maui's going to be smaller than Oahu. I'm not sure on that. I think it might actually be a bit bigger, but again, by the pictures, I can't really tell. One thing I also did want to do though is I actually looked up online to see the biggest islands in Hawaii. Maui's actually going to be the second biggest island in Hawaii, guys, which is insane. Guess what the third one is? Oahu. So technically Maui is bigger than Oahu. Now Oahu's size is 1,545 kilometers squared, whereas Maui is going to be 1,883 kilometers squared. Apparently, the Maui in the game itself is going to be around 345 kilometers of roads, so I'm guessing it's probably going to be slightly bigger, like increasing or adding like everything on from like the mountains and stuff like that and like the map itself. But do you guys actually think that's going to be enough to keep players engaged? Personally, right now, I would say driving around on Maui is probably going to be where I'm most likely going to be for a while. And the funny thing is, I'm probably not even going to go back to Oahu unless I absolutely have to. Now, this is probably going to play into the fact that is the map expansion going to be enough to actually keep players engaged on it? Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I do understand like it's going to be a completely new area. I'm actually really happy they did end up adding it because I was a bit concerned for Motorfest, not gonna lie. I actually thought this game was going to go down a way darker path, which I hope it doesn't. I really do hope this update actually gets it on the right path, which I'm probably going to make a video on that subject. But I really do feel like, though, having Maui and actually having enough events in there to do is most likely going to keep a lot more players engaged in the entire game itself. Now, there's one thing I do want to mention, though. I'm not saying I'm disappointed they're adding like an entirely new map DLC to the game. In fact, that is awesome, and it really did come as a big surprise they're actually doing that. Like, I did not expect it. And I really do hope, guys, they actually add more stuff to do on the map, like events and all that, as I mentioned. Because as I did say in other videos, Motorfest can be one of the best racing games ever. It can easily compete with Forza or even something like Test Drive, and at least be up there to be insanely popular with the right things being added to it. Now, the one thing I do want to mention right now, though, is do not get it McTwisted. I am actually really excited for the Maui expansion to come. Like, we're actually getting a map DLC in Motorfest, man. That is awesome. The biggest thing I'm actually saying here is we do need more events and also a few things to be changed in the game to make it even better. Like, for example, right now, guys, let's get some new PvP events in there. The summits get changed around a bit, and some of the end game actually gets better. Motorfest can easily be one of the best racing games of its time, and you know what? I want to see this happen so bad, man. Not even kidding. But besides all that though, guys, let me know your thoughts on the map expansion in the comments below. For me, I'm going to be honest, I'm definitely really hyped up and I do see this as a win. And the last thing I did want to ask, by the way, is let me know your thoughts in the comments below is what are some of the main changes you know. And the last thing I did want to add on to this though is let me know some of the main things you would like to see added to Maui compared to Oahu.